So a lot of you have been asking me, like, what is this thing about This American Dog? Just like, what is this thing in there? So maybe I'll just briefly share with you how this came about in there. So is Jeff in the room? Oh, Jeff behind the scenes. So this really came about is, so I had a bunch of discussion with Jeff late last year in there, like we were just talking to. So this is really just through his discussion. He became our very first investor and my co-founder creating. And I'm really grateful. If I didn't have Jeff down the bouncing back, there's no This American Dog today. Thank you so much, Jeff. And the basic idea is how the name came about is I'm a podcast fan, so I listen to This American Live on Amber for many years. So what I like about This American Live is about deep dive on a particular person, particular story in there. So we have that similar concept. This American Doc is about glorifying the physician on the individual level. We want to do things at scale, but really it's about the individual. So what I mean by this is, so we want to understand the doctor, think doctor as a person, is that like, what then the empathy, what type of pain point, like, like the frustration, all the things, we want to able to really understand that. So the part of what drives This American Dog is to be able to solve a lot of those pain points for the physicians in there. At the same time, we also think doctor as a hero. At the end of the day, right, people love their doctor, right? You're helping them solve their pains, the illness. It's about how do you celebrate and contribute the love of the doctor. So part of our theme for This American Dog is about building the doctor's personal brand. It's about how, for example, how do you just help the physician to increase their career, increase their brand, recognize in there. So that's the two theme of that. This is how this company name, This American Dog, came from. Again, that going to the essence, like what we are trying to do. And then with This American Dog structure is what we call a band of brothers and sisters in there. In fact, we have a bunch of these This American Dog investors. Our motto is we're only allowing physicians to invest in This American Dog. We're not going after the venture capital, all these things. Our goal is to get 10,000 physicians as investors. And through there, they could pull in their physician friends. We want to create the largest physician network in the US, this marketplace. And we think once we get that scale, this will give us a massive, almost able to control market and do a lot of the big vision we have. And how This American Dog, how the concept behind that is, the initial concept we had when Jeff and I were talking about, really about just the frustration of dealing with local tandem agencies, right? For example, for a lot of the physicians who work in hospital, right, if you're dealing with local tandem, you often have to charge, they charge often as much as like 50 to 100% markup on top. It's something that's just not a great experience. So this is the initial idea, just create a marketplace, right? It's the idea you should be able to hire a physician as simple as booking hotel room, right? Just making that market really, really simple. And then the next idea evolved is, well, okay, we got all these, let's say, physicians on the marketplace, but just for individual physicians, for them to do telemedicine, it's not easy, right? There's malpractice, there's like so then the idea evolved into, okay, This American Dog will tailor the group covered malpractice insurance, and then we have a lot of virtual assistants to help all sort of things. The whole idea is, right, just we think doctors do too much busy work today, right, in typical office. Just like use virtual assistants, we have a very cost-effective way to do this. So now the doctor, all they need to do is just like sit down in the home, see patient, and make money, right? Just all these other nonsense that physicians have to go through, just get rid of that. So that's one of the key concepts in there. And then as we start chatting with the evolve, then the idea, we'd add another layer in there. So our potential customers are telling us, okay, great, okay, you can hire a physician as simple as booking hotel room, but you're not solving my problem. What I really need is I need a bundle of physicians. I don't want to hire one physician at a time. I want you to give me a bundle. And the big problem they're solving is, we try to draw an analogy. So at this moment in time, there's a bunch of fire alarms being pulled all across America. So what I mean by a fire alarm is, could be a patient in a skilled nursing home as a wound that's not healing. Is a wound care specialist? Not really, not like that. It could be, for example, a patient in the ER, they need to see a psychiatrist. Is there a psychiatry around? Not really. So today the analogy is the fire alarm is being pulled, there's medical condition there. The physician is not able to show up in time. What happens is, instead of putting on the little fire become burning. It's almost by the time the fire truck shows up, your entire building has burned down already. So we think the model is right now we want to build America's largest and fastest fire station. That means you have a medical issue, you have your own more local physicians take care of that. But if you couldn't, this American Dog become your backup. Right, we could quickly deploy our network of physicians to solve this issue. Again, everything done under your hospital, your clinic brand in there. And as we're doing this one, then the next issue, so as we're working with physicians, it become, well, so initially we had this idea, right, just like physician, you decide how much you want to get paid, right, mostly working at home, then TAD, this American now, we just charge a 20% markup on top of that to the actual people doing hiring. Then one of the issues we ran into is physicians were telling us they don't know how much they should charge in there, right? They know that, for example, if you had to go to the hospital, you kind of get paid a certain rate. But if they're working from home, just using small gap, often they're willing to take lesser money in there. And also another case is, for example, people talk about this for physician shortage. We believe there is no physician shortage in there. Really, it's just the marketplace not efficient. Now the idea, let's say it's Thanksgiving night in there, right? You need someone, well, you should be able to pay more, just like almost like Uber surge pricing. So then we came up with a model is a dynamic pricing. So we're going to allow this pricing work just like you do almost, let's say you want to do an ad on Google or Facebook, right? You don't tell them the price. There's a range. There's a bidding system in there. The system not naturally work out the most market efficient way. So we're going to take that concept, apply to how physicians are getting paid in this. So we think this will help us balance the market. And again, the nice thing about this, we think it's more fair. This will allow physicians to make more money if they work on weird time. Again, the system naturally will handle that. So in this afternoon, we're going into some of the details or algorithms, right, how we actually going to achieve that in a very simple method. And then the final thing is, as we're just, again, brainstorming with our band of brothers, these physician investors, then we start bringing like, what is that, we had the theme, right, the idea, this concept of this theme is ideas worth sharing. Last night we talked about money worth making. And then we thought, what is the big problem is worth solving? Then we just quickly became the idea is there's a lot of things we want to do. We cannot do it unless we're our own medical insurance company in there. Because as soon as you do that, like all sort of things become actually easy in there, all the frustration in there. So even though we're solving a bigger problem, in my mind, it's actually, the execution is actually become easier than solving a smaller problem. So this is how we become the ideas is, the way that we construct it is we have this American Dog, then we create a separate company that owned by the physicians to create this medical insurance co-op. And our plan is to go after the employer. We're actually pretty excited. We have some initial leads already that look like we can actually potentially close some really big impact on the ecosystem in there. So that's our vision. Again, if you want interesting in finding more, just after the lunch, hang out with us and very casual, just like last night. That's how we just bounce some ideas and do a little bit deeper.